connection.
Yep.
We are now heading into game number 2 of Station 751 versus Team Veteran for our first series. As we saw earlier, Station 751 getting the upper hand in
Yep.
that 43-minute game.
It was.
Yeah.
It was very interesting because it started out as an, you know, really a dominating start, early game
For
for Team
Team
Veteran,
Veteran, right?
and then they lost the game eventually because of the comeback potential that did come out from Station 751.
Yep.
And Station 751, they did not stop with the game. And as we're seeing right now, they will go back to their
Roots, yeah.
initial pick, their comfort picks, Beastmaster, on top of the Warlock pick, which is very
Okay.
interesting. Veteran will go for Crystal Maiden, Tusk, and Brewmaster.
Brewmaster. I like that Brewmaster pick from 751. It's a good answer for the Beastmaster and the Warlock combination. Of course, with the primal split of the Brewmaster, you can easily isolate the Warlock whenever he goes into the team fight. But again, Station 751 answering also with the Sand King. So another utility hero in line for 751 to go toe-to-toe with the Tusk and the Crystal Maiden also.
Let's see if it will be enough though. Tusk is usually the better disabler of the two, between the two, Sand King and Tusk. But as far as laning goes, I would rather go for the Sand King. I think one of the stronger 2-1-2 lane heroes out there for definitely is the Sand King.
Yeah.
But because of the Brewmaster, it kind of makes a lot of difference in as far as laning goes, because Brewmaster on its lonesome is a very strong laner versus any opponent, especially any right clicker. And if you pair it with something like a Crystal Maiden or a Tusk, the damage is just way too much in the lanes.
Yeah.
Well, apart from the damage being a lot from their side, there's also a ton of disruptive force that can come out between these heroes. Like Brewmaster for sure with the Drunken Brawler,
And,
Drunken Haze.
yeah.
I mean,
The Thunderclap also is a good abusive damage first kill. First kill for that hero. Speaking of a good damage output hero, Lifestealer is the fourth pick for Team Veteran, and it's a nice answer also for the magic damage coming out from the Sand King and
for sure.
the Warlock.
It's just a Sand King though, because generally you don't want to have Brewmaster or Lifestealer versus Beastmaster, because Beastmaster can easily control them.
Yeah.
And the fact that both of them were picked after the Beastmaster is quite questionable for me. The idea why
Was.
Beastmaster is generally better as compared to Brewmaster is that if he lands the roar on the Brewmaster, he can easily burst him down with the damage that you do have.
Ooh.
And because of the damage that he will have, you will take out the Brewmaster without him having to land his
Primal
split.
Yeah.
Fortunately for Veteran, they have the Tusk, a saving mechanism if ever any target has been roared. So that is probably why Veteran opted for the first
pick.
phase picked Tusk to
The
pair up
save.
with the Crystal Maiden. Yeah, it is a good save when
And
the Beastmaster is around.
of course, the Frozen Sigil also is one of the best skills out there in terms of this positioning team, especially if you have Sand King and Warlock as your opponent. But as we can see, Station 751 using the Morphling as their maybe their possession 1 hero in this game, an answer
It
to
is,
the
it is.
Lifestealer.
Great answer versus Lifestealer, because you can kite the Lifestealer. I mean, for sure, the Lifestealer will have the rage and the Morphling will not be able to burst him down. But the thing is, Morphling can easily kite the Lifestealer around. I mean, Morphling can go for the full-on right-click build, and Lifestealer will not be able to catch up versus this Morphling, because he's going to be kited around with the range that the Morphling has. And when the time comes where there are many charges already for the waveform, this Lifestealer for sure cannot chase this Morphling
And
at
of
all.
course, the Morphling can morph into a Lifestealer in the
with a rage
with a
on,
rage also for sure. And Lina is the last pick for Station 751. So there you have it, another pick of pick up composition is present for the side of the Radiant team, as the Laguna Blade can easily take down the Crystal Maiden and the Toss with the help of the Sand King Burst Strike.
What I don't like about the Lina this time for Station 751 is that there is a lot of jump potential coming out from Team Veteran. You can
Yeah.
see the Life Stealer, Infest Bomb.
Ooh.
You have the potential for the Brewmaster jump in, and the Tusk as well really doesn't care about the Lina. And even when the Lina will have his BKB up, he will still have troubles
In dealing
in
with
dealing
the
with
Tusk.
the Tusk as
Yeah.
well as the Life Stealer. So I don't think that the Lina is an optimal pick here. And there's the Tinker.
I
last
like
pick
the
by
Tinker
veteran
pick,
Tinker.
man.
Yeah, it's great versus the Morphling Lina in general. Good versus Beastmaster types of draft, and I think the Tinker is also one of the better picks here for at least for Team Veteran.
Yeah, and also, if I'm going to guess who's going to win this fight, I'm favoring the lineup of Team Veteran because of the Tinker, because of the
Surely.
laser mechanic, the miss mechanic on the laser. If you also have the Drunken Haze, Lina will have a hard time in hitting heroes, especially if he has the fairy soul,
Fiery Soul.
the fiery soul passive, and it neglects the damage from the Lina. So let's see. Team Station 751 is indeed in a sticky situation, but as we saw in the first game, they indeed had that comeback potential. So let's see, ladies and gentlemen, let's go into the game again. This is the MOGUL Mayhem Dota 2, game number 2. Thank you so much for to the Esports Mogul and the MET, and of course Mineska TV for bringing us this tournament. Let us introduce our teams for the side of the Radiant. You have Bacting Storm Rage as the Warlock, Jackie Mao as the Sand King, Mundo as the Morphling, Ariel will go for the Lina, and Sheila Lub Lub as the
They
Beast
changed it. They
Master.
kind of changed their name, right? Anyway, from the other side, that is Rap Rap Garfield as a toss. That's Grizzly Magnum as the Lifestealer. That's new as the Tinker. Never Quit Attitude as the Crystal Maiden.
NQA.
And question mark.
Question mark.
Question mark. With the Brewmaster, third offlaner. It's
Yeah.
game number 2 of a best of 3 series,
Okay,
guys.
is Team Veteran also Pinoys?
Are they Filipinos? I'm not sure.
I'm judging them because of their in-game names.
Well, yeah, Station
Yeah.
751 is from the
Are
Philippines.
indeed,
From-
yeah.
They're from I think from
Visayas.
region. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, okay. But nice ward coming out from Team Station 751 here into the top lane to neglect the summons of the first of the creep wave, and okay, as we can see, Crystal Nova for Never Quit Attitude, but again, Station 751 will secure that bounty.
Oh,
rune.
what the-
Okay.
What
Nice
a
bar strike.
nice shard.
Yeah.
And here comes Magnum with the damage. Lab will fall. Now Jackie Mao is going to be the next target.
Jackie
Have the
Mao.
slow. And I think a
One
few
more
more seconds
Nova.
there will be a Crystal Nova upcoming.
Nova!
Will reach Jackie Mao. It will be there.
Yeah.
And do you know, Manji, that
I don't know.
this Crystal Nova deals like 130 damage.
In the early,
The
in level 1.
And that is a lot.
That is a lot. Plus that 20% movement speed, slow also.
Yeah, attack speed as
Yeah.
well. That's why Crystal Maiden is
One of
going
the
back
best
to the
metas right now. Yeah. Okay, but if I'm not mistaken, that will be 3 bounties for Station 751. I mean, okay, that's a 2 for 2 bounty rune exchange, and 2 heroes will die for the side of Steam Station 751. Okay, we are going back to the roots, man. Dota 1 lineup, Lifestealer and Crystal Maiden is the top lane. But now we can see question mark. Wow, this is kind of old school, new school strategy.
Pulling
The
the creeps.
the creep pool from the off lane side.
That's probably because the Morphling is also a threat. And the Warlock. You don't want to stay under a Warlock lane, but up top, I mean. They were going to
top.
Lab this time. That's a Beastmaster falling low.
Okay,
Will
Lab
be
Lab.
taken out. That is a third kill.
Sheila.
For Station 751.
Oh, we are now witnessing Jackie Mao with another old school type of
Maneuver. Yeah,
maneuver,
correct.
the pull into
Well,
the another the two. What do we call that? The
it is
Shanks
the
pull. The Shanks pull, right?
yeah, the Shanks pool,
Shanks pull
which was pretty
used by
famous.
Shanks.
Yeah, used by
Yeah,
Shanks here in the Philippines. But that's actually a moniker that we play. I mean, many teams for sure have done that. And if you are watching the international Dota 2 scene, for sure you have seen people try, actually using that pull. So what you do is just you kind of pull the creep wave. You just delay it for a while,
two times, right?
so that so that two waves will come right at the against the off lane.
Yeah.
And because you're setting up this massive lane for your opponents, that means that the lane will push up for
Yeah.
I mean 2 to 4
Yeah.
waves.
Basically
Second to fourth.
saying you will just give your off lane more time to gain experience in his lane, especially if you're an off lane.
Yeah.
That's very crucial. Meanwhile, comes another TP for the Warlock here into the top lane. While the
Fickle
Axis
bonds, man.
will reveal the Beastmaster, and the Warlock will serve. Will he survive?
The body
Nice
blocks.
block from Sheila
Oh,
Love
man.
here into the top lane to save his ally. And there you go, man.
Yeah, this
Two
is-
waves from the Sand King to the Beastmaster. The Beastmaster can easily clear this out.
Yeah, for sure. It will
Yeah.
just get the attention of the other kids. It's a triple wave
Yeah.
that is going to push up against the lane of 751, which means that the Beastmaster will definitely have a good time. Good amount of
They
experience.
need to kill
will
him
get-
right now.
They really need to kill him, but in comes the defense coming out from station 751. The Borrow
Oh, no.
strike is going to be imminent, but the stun will connect on the Beastmaster. Beastmaster falls. And even the Frostbite committed onto Jackie Mao.
Okay.
It's a two-man setup for the Borrow strike, but unfortunately Jackie Mao will eventually fall. Doesn't have the Sandstorm with him. And that is 2 kills in favor of Veteran right now.
Oh man, nice TP out also for the toss. Okay, when Jackie Mao went for the TP, but wait, meanwhile, okay, there you go. Tinker
Yeah.
will get the upper hand in that right-click battle into the mid lane. The laser is indeed a good counter against the Lina. But
For sure.
okay, back to what I'm saying earlier. The Sand King hesitated on his level 1 burst strike. As what you've said earlier in the draft, the snowball is a nice saving mechanic for team
is.
veteran.
Veteran.
And with that kill for Team Veteran, it neglects the effort from the Sand King into the top lane in pulling those scripts. That was 3 mages for in the top lane. That is a good amount of experience for the Beastmaster, but now he is falling off in terms of experience. And Lifestealer is having a great time
Yeah.
in the top lane.
Of course, the idea is even when you try to be aggressive as opponents with all of these lane control, whatnot, but if you can't protect your hero anyways,
Yeah.
you still are gonna have a bad time. And unfortunately, that is
Okay.
Dusk. Crystal Maiden is very hard to control. Ariel try to contest. Nu actually connects with the
One
LSA.
wave. Oh man, that is bad news for Ariel. Ariel, he has the haste.
Does have the
And
haste.
will eventually save that Dragon Slayer's life. That was a risky maneuver from Ariel, taking taking a lot of time in landing that LSA onto the Tinker.
I think he went for the Lina and tried to kill the Lina because the Tinker, I mean.
Yeah.
Because the laser has already been used. Unfortunately, of course, there's the help from the
Thus,
Tusk. He had to back down for a little bit. And they weren't able to reach this ward. Just a little bit off.
yeah, almost.
Almost taking down this
Nice,
ward.
nice ward from team station 751. But okay, they will see the ward. They will. Oh no, Lina, ladies and gentlemen,
Lina with the
goes for the backup. But
turnaround.
this is indeed a nice eye shard for Mr. Garfield. One more rightly, but it will miss. But
Oh, no.
okay, Lina.
Double damage
And the
for-
double damage rune for Nu will help him to take down that
the
Lina
tips.
area, man.
The tips. It's coming on down bottom. They will try to contest this Brewmaster. zoning him out of the lane. Unfortunately, there is a bottle, I believe, from the Brewmaster. That's why he was able to regen up.
Yep.
That was also refilled by this Tusk.
Yeah.
And it's gonna help this Brewmaster a lot now. Morphling will have to back down as well. As the damage coming out from question mark is also concerning for this Morphling. Because that is, again, a drunken brawler type of Brewmaster.
But
which means that the
again,
crit
man,
will
as
be
you
there.
say that, the Eye Shards will connect. Nice bird strike coming out from the Sand King. Adaptive strike will not finish up the job for the Morpling. And no casualties in the bottom lane. Okay, as we can see in the network, Mr. Wolf, Life Stealer, having 3,500 gold in his pockets against two core heroes from the side of a team veteran, was plus a killing spree also.
Yeah.
So how can they deal with this early game life stealer?
Well, they can always kite the lifesteal around. Like we mentioned, they have the Morphling, they have the move, the Barrow Strike, for example. Sand King. Lina is gonna be in a lot of trouble, though, versus all of these bursts. The Roar coming in onto the Brewmaster, but I don't think they have damage. Again, the saving snowball will
Oh
be
no.
there, and the Brewmaster will be safe
Mundo.
as of this moment. In comes Mundo with the Morphling,
Woo!
and the Adaptive Strike will be there. Double kill for Sheila Lablab. Well, I think that was
Nice
the-
rotation. The Beastmaster.
that was the whirling axis that
Yeah.
connected on top of the
Adaptive
fatal
strike.
bonds
Yeah.
and the adaptive strike.
Of course.
And there's just way too much damage coming out from this trifecta coming.
This
from
is what
751.
this what happened. As we can see, ladies and gentlemen, Beastmaster exchanging the farm from Grizzly Magnum with those two kills. But as we say this, question mark is talking his prey, Mundo.
Yeah,
The Morpling is also one of the viable heroes right now in the meta, man.
for sure.
How can they lock down the Morphling in this game?
Well, fortunately, they have the roar, so that's
Yeah.
one. Oh, I mean,
No,
the
I mean
roar.
the frostbite.
Split Earth. They have the primal split. I'm
Yeah,
sorry
yeah.
about that. At least that's one. We'll have a lot of control with that, and they will have the burst coming out from the Tinker, and they have
But
the
man-
water sponge as well. So while it is not, they have the tools. But to answer your question, they will have the problem locking down the Morphling anyways.
Yeah.
Because that is, that's a lot of stuns and disables that you have to commit on one single hero.
Correct.
And it might not be enough even because the task without anything else cannot be enough
Yeah.
versus the Morphling.
And those stunts are low duration stunts. So how can you neglect that switching of attribute from the Morphling? But I mean, Station 751 is still not out of this because as you can see, there is indeed a gold swing in their favor.
Yeah.
They now have the upper hand in spite of the Life Stealer having the largest net worth. And they are now setting up for this top lane. Morphling is just farming in the bottom lane. It's going to be the bounty. The bounty rune pick off from the both teams. Meanwhile, Nu is now on a dominating streak. As we can, we didn't see how he killed the Morphling in the bottom lane.
I just assumed that the Morphling was quite invested in his agility. That's
Yeah.
why he
Two
was able to be
combo,
taken out
yeah.
by the Tinker in
Yeah.
a very surprising manner. Down bottom, of course, that is the Warlock trying to defend his tower. Does have the fatal bonds,
Okay,
but the roar.
wait a minute, Wolf.
actually-
Okay, there's the roar as you've said, but there's the saving mechanic of the ultimate coming out from the Life Stealer. The Walrus Punch will connect onto the Lina. Lina uses the Laguna Blade, but it won't be enough to get the Crystal Maiden. Sheila Lablab is here, but he doesn't have the mana for those wild axes. And
What
the
a-
Frost Nova
what a Crystal Nova.
from the Crystal Maiden will chase down Sheila, and he will just harakiri his life out from that fight. Eventually, Jackie Mao will get the Crystal Maiden.
That is a 1-4-2 trade-off, though,
Yeah.
for 2 cores. And Veteran, for sure, gonna be pretty content
Yeah.
with what they got from that specific trade-off.
Yep.
Ooh.
And with that, the hand of Mordigan is now online.
The armlet, yeah.
for the life stealer. And Warlock is just taking his time in getting his ultimate ready. As we've said earlier in the drafting phase, um, Team 751 is indeed a kind of a heavy ulti-based lineup because of the Warlock Golem and the Epicenter
Yeah, they're pretty much cooldown dependent
also,
with
right?
their teams. Fortunately for Team Veteran, they only have
Oh
to
no.
wait for the split.
Oh no,
Actually commit onto
Ariel.
area, but Ariel gets away into safety.
As we can see, ladies and gentlemen, Tinker is now second into the network graph. Ariel is having a hard time in picking off a hero, and he is the one getting pounded by these risky ganks that he's been
Yeah.
doing.
The big problem I have with Team 7-5 right now is that they're lacking in terms of experience. I think they only saw level 9 Lina,
Yeah,
12
against
minutes in.
level 11 Tinker and
Yeah.
the level 10 Life Stealer.
Not a good sign at all for Station 751 right
But he's
now.
already level 10 right now. And
Finally,
okay, and Mundo also just
level
got
10.
that level 10.
Yeah, at least that's going in favor of the
Okay.
opponents. Mundo,
Yeah.
whatever we call him, is gonna be actually transitioning into a Beastmaster,
Yeah. I mean Brewmaster.
Brewmaster
Yeah.
with replicate. As his
Well, that's a
ultimate.
good farming tool
Yeah,
as the Brewmaster uses the Thunderclap. Meanwhile, Jackie Mao is farming for his Blink Dagger. Crazy Magnum is here, pops that Blood Rage. I mean, the Rage and the open wounds on top of the Walrus Punch. Grizzly Magnum is on a mega kill streak. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, okay, defensive maneuvers from the Morphling and just farming out, waiting to be online in this game. But as this is happening, man, the Life Stealer is getting fat from time to time.
oh, it kind of needs to be really fat as early as possible because that's the nature of a lifesteal, right? It really falls off heavily in the late game, but in the mid game and the early game,
Correct.
where he thrives, is just way too much. Very hard to contest in lane because of the rage. You can't really go on to him unless you have many heroes because he can just get out or even worse, turn the fight around. So there's a thing with Lifestealer. As far as timings are concerned, he is one of the strongest heroes
Yeah.
in the early game.
Of course, there's also the threat of the Tinker. The threat of the Tinker also, as you mentioned in the drafting phase, that the pushing ability of Station 751 would be neglected because of the March of the Machines.
No, for sure.
But now, speaking of push, Mundo is trying his best to push out the tier 1. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Ariel is in trouble. The Dragon Slayer has been slain.
Yeah, by a Brewmaster. So it seems could be a tussle in their mid lane though. That's members of
Oh,
Team
man.
Veteran just pushing the mid lane.
Look at that damage from the Tinker into the Morphling.
Yeah.
The Morphling needs to be careful in shifting out his attribute. As we say this, tier 1 tower will fall in the hands of Grizzly Magnum. Oh man, this is looking tough for Team Station 751 as of
It
now.
is. As compared to the previous game, they are real dependent on their late game. But they may not be able to come back because of that. Because again, the previous match they had clinks,
Yeah.
and they had the damage with the clinks. They had the mid game potential coming up from the clinks. This time they don't have the luxury of that. They have Lina.
Yeah.
At a certain point, it's strong in the mid game, but overall, you want that specific hero to get to the late game where the Fire Soul stacks are just way too much for his opponents to handle.
But let's see Team Station 751 setting up a clash here into the mid lane. Tinker Bob will just spam his rockets to defend, but it won't do anything. 751 just securing out the entire map. saving up those resources for them to farm out the Morpling and the Lina needs to be online after the 20-minute mark
Whew.
for them to get back into this game.
This is gonna be very tricky though. At least what's going in favor of Station 751 is they have the Morphling. I bet one of the best late game heroes out there can easily come back out of a bad game. But that is also a big if because how can you push up a lane versus the
Tinker.
tanker for sure? And you can't be too careless because the tanker can snipe you from long distance.
Unless you have the BKB, but will you go for the early item BKB? You won't.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
Oh man.
oh no, that is another beatdown.
Yeah.
Grizzly Magnum is unstoppable right now.
Yeah.
So they're eyeing the bottom lane.
And how can you stop the rage from the Life Stealer? Eventually, this Warlock is an easy pick off.
Yeah.
Every time the Life Stealer sees him, even also maybe the Lina and maybe the Sand King. And now, as early as possible, Team Veteran can indeed end the game with this type of Life Stealer, with the Desolator and the Armlet of Mornigan.
It's way too much damage between all these items. But correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't seen a Warlock Golem being put out in a very long time. Well, as far as this game is concerned, we haven't seen one. So
It's because there's no setup until now for
sure.
Team 751, and they're playing it safe. They don't want to risk anything. But as we mentioned earlier, easy peasy, new on a mega kill, getting the Warlock. They will change the target into the Morphling, but Morphling will just waveform out. And the pressure is on for Team 751, man. Team Veteran is doing a great job.
They're also shoving the lanes
Securing the
really
lanes,
hard. Down bottom, this could be a trade that will not go in favor of Station 751 for sure.
Oh, man.
Because of the fact that the Tinker is there, and just look at how much damage they can output. Last time, they didn't have the burst, any physical or magical burst, but this time they have plenty of burst potential from their team.
Almost 1 kill per minute for the Dire team right now. Very aggressive here in the mid game. And they're just waiting for the Morphling to get his Lincoln Spear. And okay, now he has the Lincoln Spear, but I mean the damage is lacking for Team 751, and there's no easy setup. As you've said, there's the Snowball, there's the Rage. Also, there's the Primal Split. So how can you burst down these type of heroes for the side of Team Veteran?
I wish I had the answer, though, but so far it's not at all promising for 751. And as far as Veteran is concerned, they do have a ton of burst, which is very important in the meta right now. Because again, the turnaround potential is just way too much.
Correct.
They found area.
Okay, nice Envy for area. Here comes the dagger in from the Sand King. There's going to be the Thunderclap. Press the Primal Split. There you go. The first golem of the game. But it won't do anything as the Yule Scepter has been committed to the Warlock, and monster kill for Grizzly Magnum, ladies and gents. It's a total annihilation for Team 751 right now. They are just praying for their lives right now, 20 minutes into the game.
Looking really badly for Station 751 as of this moment. Losing 2 core heroes, might even lose a tier 3 tower. Tier 2 tower, I mean. Up top. Fortunately,
They will
be denied though.
Well, they deny it, but still, that's a tower.
It is.
That's an open space for Team Veteran.
More map control, more territorial positioning on the map, which is very important in many mobile games.
And of course, for the Tinker, which is a hero who needs a larger map for him to TP in and to TP out. And Roshan is indeed up for the taking for 751 if they want.
Yeah, I'm not sure if 751 can even contest that.
I mean, sorry, for Team Veteran.
Yeah, but Team Veteran definitely can. maybe the big problem here for fights around the pit is that the vision will be on the side of Station 751 because of
Correct.
the fact that they have the Hawk and they can scout out there around the Roshan, including the Roshan pit itself.
Yeah.
One of the only few units out there that provides vision over large area, like flying vision. I mean,
Yeah.
like for example, the pit.
And of course, Team Veteran is indeed sticking together with this pick-off. Stinker can easily respond with the TP. And as you've said, man, the Life Stealer is a good combo with the Tusk because as we've saw three types of pickups with the Life Stealer and the Tusk right now.
I'm still. I mean, I'm just waiting for more infest bombs to come, but it feels like the members of Team Veteran are just gonna take this really slowly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind, to be honest, because they have the Tinker. They have a very fat Life Stealer right now. And, I mean, the Life Stealer will surely fall off as compared to something like a Morphling or a Lina. But as of this moment, what he's doing is definitely right. Just farm, 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 farm. Whenever a team fight does break out around you, you join the fight, try not to die.
Let me, okay, hold that thought, Wolf. The Crystal Maiden will fall down. Here comes another Primal Spirit coming out from the Brewmaster Walrus Punch. Godlike for Mr. Grizzly Magnum. Here comes the TP from the Tinker. Dagger in. The Snowball will save an ally. Waveform from the Warpling, but he got stuck. He gets stuck into the cliff. He will TP out. No damage output for the side of 751. And Grizzly Magnum holds the door, but nice backup for Sheila Loblub. Mundo with a retaliation play. Waveforms in. Dagger out for the Tinker. Snowball will secure the kill. 3 heroes falling down for 751. Nice Walrus Punch. No damage output from the Warlock. Nice Ice Shards also for Rap Rap. Unstoppable for Nu. Uses the dagger and the laser. The Morphling Aqua Morphling uses the adapted strike stun. Burst strike, Jackie Mao. Damage from the tower. Crystal Maiden is here. Jackie Mao is falling low. The Sandstorm won't save him.
That is a dive
man.
back, right, onto both the Beastmaster as well as the Sand King. Not good at all for Station 751. It also started really awkwardly for Station 751. I really wonder why they took the fight anyways. But I think they're just trying to save their teammates or try to get a trade off of that specific skirmish. But again, if you know that you will not get any positive trade at all versus your opponents, it is much better if you don't fight anyways. So I think that Team Station 751 were too desperate, I would say, to get the trade off or just to fight around. But the problem is you can't fight versus the lineup of Team Veteran as of this moment.
Correct.
They're just way too strong.
And of course, man, the misclick coming out from the Morphling, getting stuck into that clip. I mean, those pure seconds without any damage for 751 gave Veteran the fight. I mean,
Yeah. They had the window of opportunity.
Yeah.
They seized it. And they easily took away the members of...
no one can go toe to toe with the Life Stealer.
Yeah. Probably later when the Morphling is around because of the kiting potential. Maybe the Lina can just use his sheer amount of range versus that Life Stealer.
Yep.
But until all of those conditions are met, there is not a way for them to actually deal with this Life Stealer. So yeah, I agree with you. This Life Stealer is going to have a free game if they don't act on it quickly.
Okay, speaking of free game, they are freely damaging this tier 3 tower. TP in for the Tinker for more zoning. Uses the March of the Machines. And man, the tier 3 tower is falling low. Magnum will fight for his life on Mundo, but he has the Aegis? No, he will not fall down. The Snowball will eventually save him. Also, the Adoption Strike plus the Urn of Shadows. He will survive. He is a survivor.
Man.
Oh,
What
man.
a sexy armlet toggle as well from Grizzly Magnum right there. Now they're pushing the Byrax with the Urn as well right in there. Would be a
Okay.
counter kill from the Lina onto the Tinker. A lot of gold that's going to be in their favor, 1.3k. But that doesn't matter. They already lost their Byrax. There's a buyback from the Lina. Now they're chasing the Beastmaster with this Morphling. I mean, that is the Brewmaster. Brewmaster is down. Warlock Golem committed. So 2 for free trade off in total.
Yep.
But of course, that's a barracks down for Station 751. We don't want that to happen.
Golem being summoned right now, but didn't even...
Oh, the jump in the Wars portion defense
Oh.
bump. This could be a dieback. The use will be there, but that will not be enough to save himself. Now, there is the Morphling with a turnaround, but the counters now. Well, with the save, the roar
Okay.
will be there. That's the Aegis popped. And only the first death coming out from the Life Stealer. The Tusk is here to try to save his teammate, but look at the damage coming out from the Morphling.
Morphling.
The Rage TP out. It will not be able to complete. There's a lot of gold in favor of
751. Nice exchange. I mean, the Lifestealer and the Brewmaster overstaying their welcome, trying to pick up
Surely.
another hero.
Yeah,
That is indeed the reason why people are losing Dota in the C region, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh no, the Tinker actually jumps in as well. Fortunately enough, there's the snowball.
Epicenter.
The Epicenter is waiting for them. They're baited by the Warlock. They already took out the Tinker this time.
But no damage. No damage coming out from Team
Oh,
Veteran.
look
There's
at
a
the
wild
Morphling.
access. Mundo fighting for his life. Nice upheaval slow. Coming from the Warlock. He's falling low. Garfield, they want to flank this out. The Frozen Sigil will spot out the Sand King, but the Sand King will get out. No casualties for 751. Team Veteran defending their tier 2 tower, but eventually won't get the retaliation play they need
Kind of get
for that pickoff.
they have to get a hold of themselves.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be too aggressive like that. I mean, they already fed
don't
so
want-
much
yeah.
gold to their opponents.
Yep.
And
That's a lot of gold swing.
You don't want to give that to the Morphling. I mean, for sure, you have the lead right now in terms of economy, in terms of map presence, and even in terms of objectives because you did take out the barracks in mid lane. But
But you need the discipline.
you need a discipline. Morphling doesn't care if you push 1 or 2 lanes of barracks against him. Lina doesn't care at all. They can
Yeah.
clear out the creep wave for sure. This
Plus they have
push
the Sand
is
King
not
also.
much, really. When you think about these late game heroes, you don't want to get too ahead of yourselves.
Yep.
You have to be disciplined. Yeah, I agree with you, Manji. And I think they have to remain calm
Yeah.
for sure.
It's not the end. I mean, it's
It's
still
not
not
yet
the
over.
end.
It's
It's,
not yet
not yet
over.
over, I mean. And of course, on paper, as we've said, man, the Morphling is a good counter against the Lifestealer. As we saw in the last team fight in the mid lane, the tier 2 tower, after the Epicenter and after the Thunderclap, where is the damage output for Team Veteran? There is nothing
Yeah, non-existent.
without the Lifestealer. Yeah.
You know what's really cool about this Warlock plus the Beastmaster combination?
What?
Is that the what do you call it? The golem? No, the flesh golem. What do you call it?
The
Chaotic
Warlock,
Offering, the
the
Warlock
chaotic offer.
Yeah, the Warlock golem is hitting really quickly because of the inner beast.
The
aura.
inner beast.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's also
So
that's also a big factor, and also that's why Morphling was hitting really hard. I mean, onto on the Life Stealer because of the fact that he does have the inner
beast
Yeah.
factor.
Yeah.
So the golem is considered a beast
yeah,
in
it
the
is.
world of
Yeah,
the world
apparently.
of Dota. Apparently, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Is this another comeback for Team 751? Can we have an item check, Mr. Direct Aloe? Thank you so much. As we can see, Nu on his Dagon 5, if I'm
Dagon
not...
3?
Dragon
Yeah.
Tree, right?
Yeah, it's
If I'm not
level
mistaken.
3. Yeah, I think so.
To burst down the Morphling. Oh, that's a Dagon 5.
They got 5 already. Didn't
Oh, yeah.
know. But now they initiate onto
Ooh.
Beastmaster. Beastmaster is down.
Okay,
Yeah.
Beastmaster is just controlling the lanes. I mean, against the Tinker. But now it's going to be another counterplay smoke for
Oh.
Team 751.
They
Taskmaster,
know.
the Taskmaster being spotted out here to the top lane. Thank you, Sir Aloe,
But I think the
for
Tusk,
that item check.
yeah, the Tusk knows. Beastman, oh, the Brewmaster Rusher tried to go to
Oh, man.
backlines. This aerial down, bursted really, really quickly
Oh, man,
by the
with a split
members
second,
of
right?
Team Veteran.
Just a snap.
Yeah, the snap of a finger.
Yeah,
It's
snap of the
gone.
fingers, just like Thanos.
Oh.
Lina inverse, man.
Oh.
50 seconds into the death timer. What kind of defense will 751 do here into the top lane? The TP from the Tinker. The Frozen Sigil has been summoned. Okay, Life Stealer pops, sparks that rage. Here we go. Walrus Punch. Waveform out for the Morphling. He won't do anything. Epicenter,
Oh,
the
no.
Earthquake is here. Here comes the Golem, but the Sand King will fall off. He indeed has the buyback. Here comes the roar, but 3 heroes are down for the side of 751.
Oh,
Morphling
no.
is just fighting for his life.
Doesn't have the
Uses
damage.
the waveform. Oh, but doesn't have the damage that you've said. Buyback for the Beastmaster. Mondo Cap copying his enemy, but you are not a great artist, man. You won't steal the damage from the Life Stealer.
Oh, in comes the counter. The Tusk with the Warlord
man.
Sponge, and the Beastmaster will also
The
fall on top of the
Lance.
Sand King buyback.
It's
And
over.
that is the snowball onto the Lina. Lina, unfortunately, has got the BKB. Will try to turn this around. He will be able to take out the Life Stealer this time. And you have to take note, Manjin, they only took out the Tier 3 tower. In comes the Tinker, though, with the damage output. The Water Sponge onto
It's
the
over.
Lina. Lina is going to be down for the count.
Ooh.
And the Spirit Vessel, as well as the Dagon, is going to take out the Morphling. And I think this is GG. Yeah, they called it already.
They called it already, and we are going into game number 3. Team Veteran, ladies and gentlemen, getting the upper hand in this game. Number 2, commendable for, the Sand King. The Life Stealer is indeed commendable in this game.
Yeah, for sure.
Mr. Grimsy, with his farming rotations.
Yeah.
And of course, the pickups coming out from Team Veteran.
I think, yeah, there was a lot of early game lead that Team Veteran have built up.
Yes.
There was a time where it looked to be slipping away from them. They got ahead of themselves. They were far too aggressive. But because of the fact that they identified the proper approach to the game, tried to be, they just went in storming
Yeah.
versus Station 751. There wasn't any discipline at all. They just really went on to be aggressive. It's like they're taking the game by brute force.
Yes.
And they won by brute force. Eventually, the members of Station 751 caved in. There was only a brief moment where there
We
was a
thought
promising.
that, yeah,
it was
comeback,
It was a comeback, but eventually they caved in. They eventually lost the game because of the sheer firepower coming
Yes.
out from Team Veteran. And let's see who will win the game number 3
3,
because
yeah.
this is again a best of 3 semifinal.